Salman came and sat right next to me and started singing the song into my ear, where it just seemed like crossing the line over flirting. Oh, the Kabootar got really friendly to me, and it was so difficult for him to fly away. We used to have this whole thing on the set when Salman would say, "You'd rather romance the pigeon than me." When we got married, in fact, Salman and Sooraj were the people from my side because my family didn't attend my wedding.
What was the first song that you filmed for Maine Pyar Kiya?
I think it was Dil Deewana.
Which became the most cult song of the
Yes.
film. Yeah. What was that experience like? And it was also your first outdoor, right?
It was my first outdoor, and it was the first time that Salman had come to know about my relationship with Himalaya. So, for the first time, I was away from the family for such a long time. It was about a month that we were shooting in Ooty. And I was feeling all this lonesome and blue because I had no family with me, and we didn't have mobiles at that point of time. So I couldn't talk to Himalaya, and I would have to make, the trunk call at that time. So, so I was like really feeling so alone.
Yeah.
And we had to shoot for Dil Deewana Bin Sajna Ke. So apt. And suddenly, Salman came and sat right next to me and started singing the song into my ear. And he had always been such a gentleman on set and so nice to me that I couldn't understand where it just seemed like crossing the line over flirting. And I said, why is he doing this? And he would follow me around and keep singing the song. And I was like, what's happening here? And then finally he took me to the side and he said, I know. And I said, really? What is it that you know? And then he goes like, I know who you're in love with. So I said, yeah, like really? And then he said, okay, I know about Himalaya. Why don't you call him here? I was like, oh my God, this can't be happening. And I think from that moment onwards, there was a special connection that I also shared with Salman because it was like, oh, he was like my buddy who knew everything and he knew all the secrets. So when we got married, in fact, Salman and Sooraj were the people from my side because my family didn't attend my wedding.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It was special.
It was special. Yes.
Absolutely. One other very special thing about Dil Deewana is the yellow saree that you wore, which became so famous that every Rajshri heroine that followed has worn yellow at some point in the film.
Right.
And one of the most crucial scenes of the film, they've all worn yellow.
Right.
Was this Sooraj sir's love for yellow, and anything on that, and how were the costumes chosen for you?
You know what? I actually think it's yellow symbolizes sunshine, and it shows the brightness of life, and it shows happiness. So I guess that's where it resonates with every person. So it's not per se on having an individual passion for yellow or something like that. It just came across like that.
Yeah. And it became epic, I mean.
Yeah, and it was so simple that everyone could have it. You needn't, you didn't have to work on it to get a yellow sari, but you could wear the yellow sari and feel that you're Suman.
Yeah, very true, with the gajra and the hair. Yeah, absolutely. We've had a history of successful films being remade, epic films being remade. Do you think Maine Pyar Kiya could ever be remade?
I asked Sooraj this.
Oh, you
actually.
did?
I
Okay.
did. I did ask him.
Yeah.
And I said, what if you were to do the same? Or anyone else were to do the same? And he says, the responsibility of making something that's gone down in history is so humongous that anyone who attempts that would really have to have a whole lot of guts. And every person who's working on that set would have to have just that kind of bravery to manage that. You can't think of making Mughal-e-Azam again. You can't think of making Sholay again. To be able to attempt that, to convey that, to strike that simple chord with the audience,
right.
I think it's a tough job. I mean, if Sooraj says it's tough for him...
Yeah, for anyone else, it's out of question. Yeah, absolutely. I have one more thing I've always wanted to ask you. My favorite song as a 3-year-old boy was Kabootar Jaja. And I think it was with the whole, the Kabootar and the whole, as a kid, seeing pigeons and always singing that song whenever I saw them. So what was that experience like? Shooting with the kabootars and all of that?
Oh, the kabootar got really friendly to me, and it was so difficult for him to fly away because he would come and perch himself on my head or on my shoulder or on my hand. And finally, we used to have this whole thing on the set when Salman would say, "You'd rather romance the pigeon than me." So, yeah. So I mean, it was difficult doing all those scenes because it would refuse to fly away, like I said.
Yeah.
But Sooraj was also very particular on making sure that the birds weren't tortured, the birds were fed right and given the right kind of treatment. So in that, it became difficult because the trainer would say that, no, they need to be hungry so that we show them flying away. They would keep food and then the kabootar would fly to that. And Sooraj ji wouldn't allow that. And Sooraj ji said, नहीं, आप train करके उनको बता दो कैसे यहाँ से वहाँ जाने का, but they have to be fed, they have to be looked after properly. Considering that he is such a gentle person, that's the way he wanted all of us to be.
And there were no, computer graphics or VFX mein theek kar do or
no.
At the time. Why do you think Rajshri films still stick? Maine Pyar Kiya or Hum Aapke Hain Kaun, the other films that followed. People say the world has changed, everything is modern now. But what is it about these films that still sticks?
What I would credit that to is the heart of India. We as Indians, we as people, we're very emotional. And we like that connect with the family. You can't take away the soul of India.
Yeah.
So I think these movies basically touch upon that chord.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Really appreciate it. Okay, so before we end this interview, there's one thing I have to ask of you. I've saved this audio cassette since 1989, and I would love if you could please autograph this for us.
Of course.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Vivah happened to me by destiny. A Sooraj Barjatya saying, you decide and you want to work with us, that is the Rajshri family for you. When I met Sooraj ji recently at Raj Babu's prayer meeting, she said, you were Raj Babu's favorite heroine.